Alright lads, so it's finally time for us to update the tier list over on Brave Souls. Today we're going to be adding 2 months worth of characters since we last updated our tier list for the month of August. And in the month of August we did receive 5 new characters. The mid-month banner featured new Kubo playable art characters Neliel and also Rangiku. And then the month ended with more swimsuit characters, in this case finally a Burn the Witch collaboration with Nini, Noelle and also Macy. The following month did include more Kubo playable art characters, in this case a martial art type banner with Orihime and also Rangiku, and then we did finally get more Blood War characters, season 3 in particular, with Ganju, Shad, and also Yoruichi. So going into the tier list, we have made a few slight changes, mostly regarding normal attack damage characters. Since the 10th anniversary, we have seen a lot of increased difficulty in content like Gale Quest and also Limit Breaker, where having a higher damage output now is actually very important, especially when it comes to normal attack damage characters. So previously in S tier, some normal attack damage characters would have been there if they had a team boost strong attack, because in content like Guild Quest, team boosts are very important when it comes to team building. Almost every team wants to consist of a team booster, especially if they have killer and can deal damage. So if you had a team boost strong attack and also maybe flurry +1, likely you were put into S tier. Now most of those characters have been moved down to A, and a character like Momo, using her as an example, she was originally in A tier because she didn't have a team boost strong attack, but she also still is kind of important to have as your go-to normal attack damage dealer, especially in the extra waves in Guild Quest, where characters like this now have a lot more value in my opinion. So that's pretty much the biggest change we made in regards to currently existing characters. But with that said, let's go over the new characters that did release over the last 2 or so months. For the technique attribute, we did get 2 new characters, the first one being Macy. Now, Macy is a really good normal attack damage character, and you're probably going to hear me say that a lot, because in the last 2 months, we received a lot of normal attack damage characters. Macy being the best of the bunch because of what she does offer. So in terms of damage output here, she does come with Flurry +1, a 70% bruiser, and then 40% more normal attack damage when you are at full stamina. That in itself is fine, but because she is a gauge character with gauge rampage, by the way, that will allow her to fill up the gauge relatively fast, and then gives her 10 seconds of having 100% more normal attack damage, and also an additional Flurry +1, so Flurry +2 overall, and essentially a 200% bruiser normal attack damage increase, which is actually very good. Pair that with the fact that she also does have 2 team boost attacks. The SA1 team boost being on a 20-second cooldown, that boosts your team stats by 20% at a low percentage, around 23%, and then the strong attack 3 on a longer cooldown, but boosting your teammates for around 40 seconds, boosting their stats by around 40%. It's a really good combination to have 2 types of strong attacks like this. And one thing that I do like on this character, what we are going to see with other normal attack damage characters, is that because these characters are normally designed to be used with chappies, you know, their strong attacks don't really matter. So it's nice to have that reason to use strong attacks, because it is going to boost the character's gauge, but also boost her own stats and her team stats. So damage output is definitely not an issue with this unit, but one of the things that I do like about this character is he also is paired with Lacerate and also Drain as stat augment, with an increased chance to inflict stat augment against no affiliation enemies. What this does mean is that she can easily stay at full stamina, especially when she does have killer, taking full advantage of that extra 40% normal attack damage when at full stamina. And then the Lacerate also, in context of Guild Quests, can stop the enemies from attacking you, which is actually very good for survivability, but also damage output in content like Limit Breaker Quest. So in this case, because she does have the same attribute type and also killer, and both being melee, as one of the newest characters, that being Yoruichi, we'll get to her in a few minutes, it means anytime Yoruichi is really good to be used in Limit Breaker, Macy is also going to be really good. In a way, this can also be said for any melee no affiliation content. She's going to have a constant high damage output, always staying at full stamina, and if the enemies have a high HP like we do see in Limit Breaker, that Drain and Lacerate is also dealing a lot of damage over time. If you saw a recent video using this character in Limit Breaker, she was actually very good, actually almost better than Yoruichi, which is kind of crazy because Yoruichi, when we get to her, is a very powerful character and a strong attack damage character. Normal attack damage characters aren't usually supposed to be this good, but I think right now Macy is definitely one of the better ones out there. And in a way, one of the things I do appreciate with this character too is that she isn't restricted to Guild Quest, which is what normal attack damage characters are usually for. You really can use this character where you want to, and if you are a Macy fan, you got a very solid character. So with that in mind, we are putting her near the top of S tier because I think she's a very good side for the context of guild quests. I think she's also going to be really good in Limit Breaker. You can use it in, epic raids too to boost your team. Just overall a really good normal attack damage character. And I guess due to affiliation too, being no affiliation, it's also good for content like Senkamon, where there aren't that many no affiliation characters, and her being a normal attack damage character does allow it to stand out a tad bit. So I think S tier is a good spot for that character. And then our second character to talk about today is going to be Raijin Senkei Yoruichi, an amazing character that, as you can see right now, is instantly put into SS tier. But what exactly is that? Well, Yoruichi has a very high damage output. If we have a look at her skills here, she does have Frenzy +3, a 50% strong attack damage increase with the Berserker skill, 30% more damage when she is at full stamina, and then when she does inflict a status summon, in this case Paralysis Plus, which keep in mind she does of course have an increased chance to do so against any no affiliation enemy, she would then deal 60% more damage to those paralyzed enemies, while also of course giving herself a 100% spiritual pressure stat boost. That in itself is very high. Frenzy +3 and this many damage multipliers seems to now be the norm post 10th anniversary. So that paired with really good strong attacks is going to allow her to be one of the better characters in the game. Her strong attack kit is also really good. Double lunge on her strong attack 1 and 2. The SA2 in particular is a superior strong attack, so it does deal more damage and has really good range. And then the SA3 is just going to be a standard full screen. But I really do like the strong attack kit that she does have, especially when you consider the EX move that she does have, which is another lunge. And for a character like Yoruichi, who naturally has more flash steps compared to any other character in the game, makes it a very fast, fun, and powerful unit thanks to the skill set she does have. The 10th anniversary itself did bring us new abilities, in this case EX skills, and Yoruichi is one of the few characters right now to have 2 EX skills that offers more strong attack damage and also long stride to any technique character, but also of course herself. So naturally, she's going to be even faster with the long stride. You can give that to other characters, and she's also further increasing her strong attack damage output, which gets further increased the more duplicates you do get. Right now, I think Yoruichi is easily one of the better characters in the game, almost having no flaws in all honesty. And right now has been one of the most fun characters for me to play with in the year 2025. So I think with that, we are going to put it again in SS tier. I feel like for now, I am going to put her in 3rd place, even though she is capable of getting some really high scores in content like Guild Quests. In some ways, you can say maybe she's the 2nd best technique character. I think for Guild Quest content, she definitely will outscore Gremmy as a character. But I think Gremmy still has a lot more value with the fact that he does have that really good survivability, tracking Vortex SA2, and also, of course, he does have the really good team support for any current and future Quincy character. But in all honesty, they are in a way interchangeable. If you want to say Yoruichi is the 2nd best technique character, I can agree with that. If you want to say 3rd best, I can also agree with that. For me, I'm going to go 3rd best. So that's pretty much it for the technique attribute. Within the last 2 months, we only received 2 characters, 2 strong characters though, but it is kind of funny that they're both technique, melee, no affiliation characters. So ideally, you do want to use both of them in your teams. Going into the power attribute, this time around we did receive 2 new characters. The first being the Kubo playable art Neliel. Now Neliel is also surprisingly very strong for a character like this. That being again a normal attack damage character. She in a way seems to be the start of a new trend, where characters designed for content like Guild Quest are going to now come equipped with Flurry +2 everywhere, but Flurry +3 in Guild Quest. This means that as of right now, she does have one of the highest damage outputs for a normal attack damage character. Flurry +3 is absolutely crazy with the extra damage multipliers that she does have. In this case, a 60% bruiser, normal attack damage increase with the skill, an additional 35% through the soul trait, more melee and killer effects, while also having a team boost strong attack too, which is very good, especially for the Guild Quest phase that she's in. Paired that with the Lacerate Plus, where you can stop the enemies from attacking you, more so the bosses in Guild Quest content. And then also, one of the things that we are seeing here, which is very important for content like Guild Quest, is the team party boost that she does have, alongside the fact that her SA2 is also a team boost. So her strong attack 2 is going to boost your stats by 43%, the attack, focus, and defense stat. More so we're looking at the damage output here, so attack and focus. So that with the team party effect that she does have, where she increases everyone's damage output regardless of their affiliation, their attribute, she's increasing their damage output by 20% to any enemy that is inflicted by a status element. And this stacks with other skills that also further increase damage output. So just to give a quick example, if we go back to Yoruichi, one of the great things about Yoruichi that I didn't really speak about, to be fair, is that because she is a technique sniper, she does get really good damage from a character like Swimsuit Jushiro, who boosts her strong attack damage by 20%, which stacks with the Mugetsu soul trait for an additional 20% strong attack damage, and then he's also providing 40% more damage to specifically Technique Soripers, and that's important to understand. So she's getting 40% more damage, which is great. Really good duo these two characters have going for them. So because Nelio's team boost here, despite it being the same as Jushiro, both boosting damage to enemies that are inflicted by a stat element, because Nelio's is to everyone, it stacks and it works alongside Jushiro's. So you could make a team using Nelio, Jushiro, and also Yoruichi to then provide 40% strong attack damage, 60% more damage to enemies inflicted by a status element, while also giving Yoruichi 43% more attack and focus through the strong attack 2 that Nelio does have. Now, Nelio's not unique in this sense. There's another character that came out a month prior in June, that being from Sumisaki, that basically does the same thing, but this is really good for essentially any guild quest phase. While yes, you do of course want to use it in the immediate Aaroniero guild quest, that's where she's best designed for, she's going to be doing a lot of damage there. In a way, you could use her in every single guild quest phase with the idea of building a team like I just stated with Yoruichi and also Jushiro. So yeah, it's instantly going to put her in S tier. I mean, regardless of what I just spoke about, she is an S tier character just for Flurry plus 3 and a team boost, but honestly, she is a very valuable character to have for team building in guild quests, and a character I would love to have, but unfortunately don't. But in addition to Nelio, another character we did get in the power attribute is a new swimsuit Nini. Now, in a way, what makes Yoruichi a very powerful character, in a way, is kind of said about this particular Nini. In her case, she does have a high damage output with Frenzy plus 3, a 55% Berserker, in this case strong attack damage increase, which does get further increased through her sword trait that provides an additional 30% strong attack damage. Once more at full stamina, she has 30% more damage, and then she also does have a team party effect where she can increase everyone's strong attack damage by 20%. This character can inflict paralysis plus with an increase against Aronkas, and when she does inflict paralysis, she will then get an 80% spiritual pressure boost and also 50% more damage to paralyzed enemies. I guess it's probably worth noting all these characters that we are now seeing also do have 200% resistance to status elements, in this case freeze duration. That's going to be, of course, really good and pretty much relevant for a very long time in content like Limit Breaker and also Guild Quest, where we start to see 200% status pulls more often. Right now, Nini is just a very strong character, especially for the no affiliation, really good in Senkamon content. Has a very good strong attack kit with a beam forwards, SA1, a distant AoE SA2, which is also another superior strong attack, and then a full screen strong attack 3. That allows her to get very good scores in Guild Quest content, which right now she is the best lead for the Amelia Aranki Guild Quest. If you do want to get good scores in a week like that, Nini is pretty much the character for that. Although, to be fair, even though, as you can see here, I am putting in SS tier, she's not entirely perfect, and that's more so due to the affiliation that she does have. Due to the no affiliation not really being seen all too often, there aren't that many great team support characters for her. You know, every Quincy can pretty much use Gremmy, every Soripa has plenty of other options, but also Tenjo, right? No affiliation boosters don't really exist, and that's why, in a way, a character like Misaki and also Nelia that we did speak about, funny enough, once more, you can use both in the same team, are really important because one of the few ways to further boost a character like Nini's damage output. Fortunately, though, she doesn't entirely need it because she does have a very good damage output with multiple different skills boosting her damage output, but it is something worth noting that she doesn't have options like other characters do. Keep in mind that this character was so good that the Guild Quest phase that she was designed for, especially when paired with Neliel, had a lot more HP compared to other Guild Quest phases, almost more than Guild Quest phases that want you to use the 10th anniversary characters. So in a way, that kind of goes to show how good she was. So once more, in terms of the order for Nini in SST, I don't think she's better than Jushiro. I think Jushiro does have more going for him, although in a way they are kind of similar, especially as both power Arunkillers. Fortunately, one's ranged, one's melee, so you kind of do want to have both. And even though I feel like I see myself using Aizen more in content like Limit Breaker, just due to his dominate and also drain effects, I think Aizen's killer might hold him back a little bit. So maybe I'll wait to see what you have to say. I'm maybe fine with putting Aizen second still, because Aizen is also still really good and capable of getting really good scores. I've used this character a lot in Limit Breaker. I think there's definitely both still SS tier characters, but I'm a bit still not sure entirely which character I want to put higher. Right now, I'm more so leaning to Nini because she does have Frenzy plus 3. I think that will make her maybe remain more relevant in the future, but also because she does have a more relevant killer, that being a Ranka. Aizen is never really going to have killer, but in a way, doesn't really matter for Aizen because of his status that he does have. So I'm going to wait and see what you have to say, but right now that's pretty much the power tier list. That then takes us into the heart attribute, where right now we only received one new character in the last 2 months, so I'm definitely expecting us to receive a new heart character this upcoming end of month. Because since the 10th anniversary has started, we again only have received one heart character, and also they're a normal attack damage character. Heart at this point is definitely long overdue to receive another spiritual pressure character to sit alongside full-bring Bankai Ichigo, who's kind of lonely at the top in SS tier as there's no other character to go alongside him. Of course, it goes without saying, we did speak about him 2 months ago during our last Tillers video. You know, full-bring Bankai Ichigo is an amazing character. Might return soon. Gonna be great to pick him up if you haven't already got him. But the new character we did get in the heart attribute is Ganju. Ganju's finally receiving a new summonable character after 10 years of Brave Soul, which is kind of crazy to think about. I did recently showcase the character on the channel. He has a lot going for him, despite him being once more a normal attack damage character. Now, what I do like about a character like this is that he's not specifically designed for guild quests. Over the last few years, normal attack damage characters have kind of lost their identity in a way, or most have just got straight shoved into content like guild quests, and we're kind of seeing characters be designed to not be used in just that game mode. Macy, again, is an example of that. But I think Ganju is also another example too. Of course, characters like this do excel in guild quest content. You're still going to use them there. But I've unironically been using this character a lot. So Ganju's damage output, if we have a look at what he does have, it is Flurry +2, a 60% bruiser, normal attack damage increase, 40% more normal attack damage when at full stamina, 20% more normal attack damage that he does give to the team. That goes for both normal attack and also strong attack damage, which is really good for a character like this to have, because when you are using them in content, likely it's going to be in co-op or team-based game modes where you are going to be paired with a strong attack damage character. So being able to give them 20% strong attack damage is really good, but it's also good for other normal attack damage characters, and that of course also goes for himself. When at full stamina though, this character pretty much gets 100% more normal attack damage, which is absolutely crazy. 40% of that comes from the soul trait, and 60% comes from the skill that he does have. So Flurry +2 and pretty much 100% bruiser is very high. Although it does come at the cost of this character needing to stay at full stamina, which is why he does have a team boost SA3, which also can provide barriers. Again, I love characters like this having utility effects on their strong attacks, whether that's a team boost, a team heal, or barriers. In the case for Ganju, he has 2 strong attack boost effects, one of them paired with a barrier effect. That's really good for survivability in content like epic raids, guild quests, and Path to Unity. That paired with the drain effect that this character does have, it does allow him to stay at full stamina, not as reliably and safety as a character like, Macy, who has an increased stat chance to inflict drain, but in general, it's still overall really solid. So Ganju's going to be really good for his melee stroper guild quest phase. You can pair him with Gremmy, who's also just basically right beside him. Gremmy is more of a guild quest character. I wouldn't really use Gremmy outside of guild quest, but right now I've been using this character a lot, in particular Ganju. And I think Ganju also has a lot of usage as a link too, since he is offering 40% more normal attack damage, but also through his EX skill, he is offering additional normal attack damage to the entire team. So yeah, just another solid normal attack damage character that isn't strictly restricted to guild quest content, which in my opinion is great to see. We are now starting to get really good value normal attack damage characters that offer more than just being able to deal a lot of normal attack damage. But alongside Ganju, the only new character in the heart attribute within, again, the last 2 months. Like I said, we did move some characters up, in particular Ririka, Saruchi, and also Retsu, as they also do have really good damage output for content like Guild Quest or having Flurry +2. But other than that, like I said, eagerly waiting for our next spiritual pressure strong attack damage character in the attribute, because I can definitely see someone being up there with Ichigo, although I doubt they will rival Ichigo. They may get close, but they definitely won't be better than Ichigo. But then again, I'll be gladly wrong. That then takes us into the speed attribute, where this time around we received 2 new characters. The first being Kubo playable Aaroniero. Now, Aaroniero is a normal attack damage character designed for Guild Quest content, so with that she is going to again get Flurry +2 everywhere, but now Flurry +3 in that respected game mode. That means, of course, in Guild Quest she's going to be doing really good damage, especially when paired with a 70% bruiser, her team boost SA1, and the more killer and range effect that she is going to have in that game mode. But fortunately, because she does have Flurry +2, it also means outside of Guild Quest, she is still going to be able to do a decent amount of damage. Now, one thing that I do like about this character that we are seeing again with the other normal attack damage characters is that 2 of strong attacks here do consist of team effects, right? Her SA1 is a team boost. Now, it's a bit weird to have a team boost strong attack 1 and only on the first strong attack. It's her pretty much the first of its kind, right? Normally, we see it paired with another strong attack team boost effect. But like I said, having it on the strong attack 1 isn't a bad idea. It is going to provide your team with around a 23% attack and focus increase, but on a 20-second cooldown, it does mean that she can infinitely stack this team boost effect without the need of having recharge built into the character. And that's important to note, normal attack damage characters don't really have access to recharge and normal attack damage links. That's just a rare combination for characters to have when it comes to resurrectable soul traits. But fortunately for a character like this, what I do kind of like is that she also does have recharge built in, so those strong attacks will be coming back a tad bit faster. And they're good strong attacks to have. Again, the team boost SA1, her SA3 can heal your allies, and of course herself, and her soul bomb, if you do decide to use it, if you're manually playing with this character, it does actually provide barriers. The Lacerate plus stat elements that this character can inflict is also very solid, especially for content like Guild Quest where you are going to use her, because Lacerate as a stat element can stop the enemies from attacking you, more so again the bosses, allowing you to have pretty much guaranteed safety from attacks for around 7 seconds. And that's kind of important to know, because in the Guild Quest phase that she wants to be used in, the other character you are going to use cannot really stop the enemy from attacking you. And that other character is one of the other new characters released in the last 2 months. That, of course, being Swimsuit Noelle. Now, Noelle honestly isn't really that amazing of a character. I think she's actually very good, but I feel like she definitely could have been better. And by that, I really wanted a character like this, especially as a Burn the Witch unit, to be top of S, maybe even push into SS like Nini, and in a way almost Macy. Noelle's a strong character though with a really good strong attack here, but her damage output, especially outside of Guild Quest, is lacking a tad bit, as she only has Frenzy +2, free in Guild Quest, and then 40% more damage to enemies that are inflicted by Drain. Drain's a really good stat element to have. It does allow it to stay at full stamina, but unfortunately a character like this is lacking full stamina damage capabilities. I do like, however, that she does have a team skill that increases no affiliation characters' strong attack damage by 20%, so you could potentially use that to buff a character like Nini. But her damage output is very average for the most part. You can see that we are kind of grouping her alongside these two characters. You know, Ichigo came out 4 or 5 months ago, Yoruichi came out in June, and they're pretty much just very similar in terms of damage output. Maybe I would say Noelle is a little bit better than Ichigo. I think they're pretty much just around the same tier. Now, that doesn't mean Noelle is a bad character. As you again can see, I have put her in S tier, but I feel like for a post 10th anniversary unit, she definitely could have been a little bit better. Noelle definitely does get a lot better with Orihime in the team, so they do go hand in hand, really good solid characters. They complement each other for the most part, but as of right now, regardless of me thinking, you know, Noelle should have been better or not, she is still a really good solid character for content like Guild Quest, in particular, the ranged no affiliation Guild Quest. So that pretty much wraps up the speed tier list. Overall, speed is still a stacked attribute. Right now, they have access to pretty much the most S tier characters. And, you know, they also have access to some really good SS tier characters. Now, real quick, I actually did just forget to mention Chad. Chad's okay. He is more of a Brave Battle character, so, you know, really not going to do the character justice in a PvE tier list. He does have a good damage output, Fly +3, and a, you know, decent bruiser. But again, he's more so just going to be used in Guild Quest. He lacks status on resistances. Even though he does have Flyer +3, I guess you can use him in Guild Quest, but we are potentially entering a 200% resistance meta, and Chad doesn't even have any type of 100% resistance. That's going to hurt him in the future more so. That's fine. To be fair, he is a Brave Battle character, one of the better Brave Battle characters in the game, but again, this is a PvE tier list where we aren't really considering Brave Battle performance. So with that in mind, Chad is pretty much just going to go into A tier. That then takes us into the final attribute, this case the Mind attribute, where we received 2 new characters, the first one being a Kubo playable art martial artist very similar to Orihime, Rukia. Now Rukia I really do like, in a way she's very similar to Ganju, another normal attack damage character. Again, we got a lot of these over the last 2 months, but not restricted to just Guild Quest content. So with that, she's going to have Flurry +2. She is then going to have an 80% bruiser normal attack damage increase with an additional 35% through her soul trait. Very simple damage output, but also really good in my opinion. But then you pair that with these strong attacks that she also does have. So in this case, her SA2 is a team boost, providing a 43% attack boost to your entire team, while also healing your entire team because it is a 2-in-1 strong attack. Then her strong attack 3 is able to provide you with barriers, and through the multi-barrier skill, you can get around 5 to 6 barriers, which is really strong. Again, like I said already multiple times, I'm really liking these normal attack damage characters that we have been getting that have come equipped with a lot of good utility effects on their strong attack 1, 2, or 3, in some cases all strong attacks. Normal attack damage characters are very simple, they pretty much only want to press one button, so being encouraged to press the other buttons, having actual useful strong attacks is really important for characters like this. So I think that makes her a very good and strong normal attack damage character, and I can see a lot of usage out of this, and I can see a lot of usage for this character even outside of Guild Quest. In particular, Path to Unity, with the way that game mode does work, Rukia is a character that can actually meet most of the requirements for boosting your team's stats, healing them, and also protecting them through barriers. A simple but, in my opinion, effective normal attack damage character that also pairs very well since they have very similar attribute, range, and also killer types, with the also other Kubo playable art character, that being Rangiku. Now, Rangiku, in a way, is very similar to Noelle, but has a bit more going for it. So in this case, Frenzy +2, free in guild quests. Of course, does have the standard increased status and chance to inflict drain, and also an 80% spiritual pressure boost. Fortunately for this character, unlike Noelle, she does have a 70% strong attack damage increase through the Berserker skill. So that means her damage output's very strong in and outside of guild quests, especially when she is up against human enemies. Now, one thing that I really do like about a character like Rangiku is the EX skill that this character does have. She provides a team skill effect that increases everyone's damage output to enemies that are inflicted by a status element. Starts at 12% at 1 out of 5, at base Transcendence, but through max Transcendence it does go up to 20%. That's a really useful team effect, especially when paired with a character like Misaki, who again, a lot of people are using in every guild quest phase. Like mentioned with Nelio, you have the team boost strong attack 2, and then you have the team effect skill. If you are using a character like Misaki, you can actually use Rangiku as a link through the EX skill slot to further increase your team's damage output. And that's why this month we've actually moved Misaki up a tad bit, because I think she's a very strong normal attack damage character. But Rangiku is also just very simple, a strong attack damage character, good strong attack kit, best lead right now for the melee human guild quest, and also just pairs well with Rukia. But due to her not having like a super high damage output, at least outside of guild quest, isn't gonna get her up into S tier, isn't going to get her up to SS tier. I think S tier right now is a safe spot for her. But that's pretty much the mind attribute in a nutshell, including the 2 new characters that we did get. Again, right now, 10th anniversary Ichigo and Byakuya right now remain as the 2 best mind characters. Although I do want to mention, Isshin once more. I don't think I'm going to put him in SS tier for this reason alone, but, we are respecting him at the top of S tier. Isshin is a really good character overall, but I think right now, if we ever were to make a limit breaker tier list or just strictly look at that one particular game mode, Isshin is by far one of the best characters. So I do want to spend this final moment in the video just to talk about this character once more. I've been using this character a lot. I feel like at this point every month in limit breaker, because what we are seeing, if the enemy's HP is getting higher, and in the way Limit Breaker is getting harder, that makes Isshin even better because of the stat elements that he does have. Lacerate and also Burn. The more HP they have, the more damage they take from the Lacerate and Burn. And that has allowed Isshin to be used in pretty much every month of Limit Breaker, anytime they pretty much want you to use a mind character. So shout out to the Isshin, honestly, really pushing into SS tier just based off of his Limit Breaker performance. But again, I think right now, top of S tier does do the character justice. Either way, that pretty much covers the last 2 months worth of characters. We've had some really good characters. Pretty much everyone besides Chad, because he's the Brave Bar character, got put into S tier. Some got put into SS tier. The value of characters post 10th anniversary has been really high, especially for normal attack damage characters. We're really starting to see them have more uniqueness about them, and I think that's great for an archetype that has been very stale over the last 2 years. Strong attack characters have also been pretty good. Yoruichi, in my opinion, being the highlight of the last 2 months. Very fun, very powerful character, and that's what you want to see for very important and hype characters like Raijin Senki Yoruichi. It was a very cool moment in the anime, and that translated into a very fun and powerful character. Like always though, when it comes to our tier list videos, if you have any disagreements or changes you want to see made for next month's tier list, let me know in the comments below. But with that said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys next time. Take care and peace.